All praise, glory, and honor is most certainly due to the Most High Elohim of the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I want to say peace to each and every one of you in the name of His Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, who we know as Jesus the Christ. It's always a blessing each and every single time that I can come before you to bring a message contained in His Word. I never counted a light thing to do so. In today's message, which will be somewhat brief, I want to respond in part to a message that I received about the consumption of pork. And it's the message reads, there's a difference between the moral law and the ceremonial dietary laws. Your God commands you not to eat pork because it is unclean and chews not the cud, but allows you eat unclean chicken and unclean beef with all the steroids and poison injected in them. Unclean meat containing carcinogens causing cancer and diabetes and heart disease. Killing tons of people every day. You need to stop lying, telling people not to eat pork. Okay, so first of all, the Bible doesn't use the terms moral law and ceremonial law, but there is a difference in laws as far as morality. For example, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. Those are categorized in those particular laws. And then you have laws that are pertaining to ritual purification, ashes of a red heifer, the washings, etc. Now, we understand that certain aspects of those that do not apply. There's no animal sacrifice, for example, that is taking place at the moment. Okay, or that But this person said, your God commands you not to eat pork because it is unclean and chews not the cud. It's a reference to Leviticus 11, but allows you to eat unclean chicken and unclean beef with all the steroids and poison injected in them. And he goes on to talk about carcinogens and diabetes and cancer and heart disease. Listen, the Bible doesn't actually address steroids in the food. And furthermore, that what you're calling unclean, you're saying the steroids make it unclean, and what you're calling poison, that's not contextually what was called unclean back then. Okay, it was unclean because it didn't meet the criteria in Leviticus the 11th chapter. Now the question becomes, is this ceremonial? Many in Christianity says this will fall, the dietary law will fall into the category of ceremonial law. The problem with that is that nowhere in the text do you find that is the case. There are verses, which I'll deal with maybe later, maybe not today, but there are verses that may on the surface indicate that, but as you read them contextually, that's not the case. Okay, and what I do want to read now, maybe I'll address this in the next video that I do further, go into more depth. But I need people to understand, because I'm not up here lying to you. That's one thing. If you've ever, this is not the biggest page, but one thing is for sure, one thing somebody cannot say is that I haven't been diligently reading this book to you. I don't need to lie to you. That's not my intent. This is Isaiah the 66th chapter, and I want you to consider this. And this is one of the strongest cases. And then again, nowhere in the text do you see the dietary law categorized in that way. It is also a moral thing, and you know this because of this. Isaiah 66 and verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. So what is this? This is Isaiah prophesying of the return of the Mashiach, of the Christ. He's coming back. It tells you in the New Testament, he's coming back in flame and fire, taking vengeance on them that know not God and that obey not his gospel. So again, verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. See, he's going to kill a lot of people when he returns. Now, notice what he says in verse 17. It reads, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the garden behind one tree in the midst, he said, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord. So some would say, well, that's just referring to pagan. This is clearly future, no question. It's beyond us. But some would say, well, this is just dealing with paganism, which we know is wrong morally. Okay, but why put something like eating swine's flesh if it's just ritual purification? No, this is also immoral, just like any kind of false worship. So that's why he puts that in it in regard to why he's judging them. If it didn't apply, why would he include this in the reasons why these people have judgment poured upon them, this flaming fire? It's because you're still not supposed to be eating. You're still not supposed to eat pork. And I'll touch upon this the next time I come before you in more detail. But when you read the New Testament and you read the verses that Christians today try to use to justify the consumption of pork and unclean food, you will find that contextually that's not even what it's talking about. So I just want to touch upon that, and the reason is because I think people will be edified in this, because a lot of people don't realize that what you're doing is actually sin, even today, and that's what you eat. You're not supposed to eat any and everything. So with that, brothers and sisters, again, I'll touch upon this more so in the next time I come before you, Lord willing, and so is my prayer that you were edified.